All systems go. Clear for takeoff.
What's going on, everybody? We're back talking baseball. Nades is doing the head bobbing, the head weaving like he's about to be in a boxing match. Big boy slate, 14 games. Hopefully you get a little knockout last night, Nades. Huge night for a lot of members over here. The Rays got the job done. Coors Field, I mean, it was just a crazy, crazy day. In cash games, I had Coors for the longest time, and at 4:05, at least my time, 7:05 Eastern. It sounded like it was getting worse and worse. I pivoted, got lucky. I mean, the game did play. It did nothing. The Braves didn't do much either, and we're going to get to hitting. Feels like pretty much the same slate for hitting, the same kind of teams as yesterday that did flop. But pitching, Spencer Strider and the rest is how I see it. Awesome slate, though, 14 games. Really only Coors Field for weather. Let's run it back from yesterday. How's your day going, Nate? What's going on?
Yeah, no, day's going great. Our guy shipped the 20 stacks, the big 222 single entry, I believe, on DraftKings. Listened to the show yesterday. Title, you had some incredible calls. We had some incredible calls together. I mean, my guy, CJ Abrams, I mean, can you outline it any better, right? I said, gets a walk, steals second, scores a run. There you go. Your 2 points turns into 9. And that's exactly what happened there against Mr. Burns. Burns obviously let us down a little bit. Glasnow got the job done. The Rays lefties got the job done with that short porch over there in Yankee Stadium. It was a fantastic night for many of the members over here in the Discord. But yeah, ready to dive back. Got two far and away clear-cut chalk options on the slate, and it just so happens one's cheap, one's the most expensive guy in the slate. So we'll talk through pitching there. I have a little bit different takes. Kind of when ownership condenses, especially on a 14-game slate, I'm one to look elsewhere. Typically, but we'll talk through it. Looks like a nice little interesting slate here. Rinse and repeat kind of some of the offenses from last night, so it should be fun.
Absolutely. Should be a lot of fun. 14 games, like we said, only Coors Field with the weather concern. Got to say hi to people in chat before we break down this monster. Pair buys in here. Mike Carr, what's going on, Nymphu? I appreciate that. Richie Smalls, Gator Nation, D-Rock, Nate's in chat. We got Andrew Martinez, Jackson here. Bill B, appreciate that, Bill B. Hamwich, our guy in here. Kid Lyman, Hebrew Cheetah, Minnesota Cards, Warren Tyler. What is up, everybody? Cards, I appreciate that, man. Hope everything's going well. Haven't heard from you since Denver, so hope life is good over there. Hope life is good for everybody. It's August, first day of August. That means football is a little closer. The days will be counting down. I'm pumped for it. Best ball, Big Marley and I are going to do a show tomorrow, 2 p.m. Eastern. On Drafters. Speaking of our partner Drafters, head over there, use that promo code SHIPIT. We'll match 100% from $20 all the way up to $100. And we were talking a little in the Discord yesterday. Only, I think, like 17,000 of 110 or something full right now. Probably going to be some overlay. There was some last year. I think there might be some this year. So there's no better time to get over to drafters.com. Start drafting. Joe, our guy, Kevlar in here. What is up, Kevlar? All we appreciate from all we ask from all you guys, like button, subscribe button, helps us out a ton. You guys know the drill, but no time to waste. 14 games, bunch to talk about, Nades. We're going to start at pitching like usual. I'm going to say 9K and above because there's so many options. 9K and above. You mentioned the clear chalk. Spencer Strider, 12.5K in a tier of his own, but he's in a tier of his own in real life pitching. I mean, 40% K rate. You look at the K prop today, 9.5, juice on the over. Also get the pitchers ump behind the dish too, which is one of the few on this slate. Should have run support behind him as well. I mean, it's good chalk. We'll talk about the other chalk, Lance Lynn, in the lower range. I'd rather eat the Strider chalk, no doubt, than I would the Lance Lynn chalk. However, 12.5K, there is bats to pay for on the slate. Are you locking them in? Are you playing them in like 2 or 3 lineups? I know you're usually a couple lineup guy. There's options below. Pablo Lopez, Gallen, Framber Valdez, Freddie Peralta sub 10K, Justin Steele, Bryce Miller. There's some good arms, 9K and above, but no doubt Spencer Strider in a tier of his own. I haven't projected for over 5. points higher than the next highest price guy or next highest projected guy. What are your thoughts at pitching 9K and above? What you doing?
Yeah, I mean, Strider clearing away in a league of his own, but ownership's going to follow. I mean, 12-5 on a 14-game slate, and I'm seeing 40+% ownership on him. That's interesting because looking at this Angels lineup, I mean, they strike out there's only, there's 3, 4, 5 bats striking out under 20% in this lineup that's projected against right-handed pitching on the road. I get it, right? Spencer Strider and his almost 40% K rate on the season, which is absolutely absurd. Pitcher's ump. But, man, title, it is 90-plus degrees in Truist Park, wind blowing out, hot and humid, one of the best hitting weather conditions on the slate. And you also have to pay an expensive price tag for Spencer Strider. I've been going cheaper at pitcher. That's just what I've been doing. So on my lineup tonight, I will not be playing Spencer Strider, but he's an excellent play. In terms of chalk, if I were more I guess if I was going to play one piece of chalk on the slate in terms of pitcher, it would most certainly be Spencer Strider. I'm not going to – we'll talk on the Lynn chalk later. Obviously, Dodgers, huge implied run total. Lynn is cheap, gets the Oakland matchup. It all kind of makes sense there why Lynn is going cheap. And you're going to see a lot of Spencer Strider, Lance Lynn combinations, or Spencer Strider, Andrew Heaney, another cheap guy that we're going to talk on too, likely is going to be, at least in cash, that's going to be the pairing. A lot of tournament lineups are going to be stapled that way as well. I'm going to go elsewhere. So I'm going to get different tonight at pitcher. I love the Dodgers bats tonight here against Waldichuk, who's not any good. Dodgers smash lefties. This is actually a lefty here. We got that one right. Waldichuk is a lefty for everyone that was in here yesterday. Me and Title were had some fog brain, scatterbrain going on, thinking the Braves were playing a lefty. Braves got shut down yesterday by the bullpen. But, yeah, Spencer Strider, interesting take. I think he's a great play. Obviously, anytime he's on the slate, he can dust the slate. 13, 14, 15 strikeouts are there. I'm just going to go elsewhere because I need salary. I like the Dodgers tonight. They're my number one offense, and you got to pay for those guys. The expensive bats are expensive. So I'm out on Strider, but he would be my favorite up at this top. I actually like the discount you get on 3 guys, Zach Gallen, Pablo Lopez, and Freddie Peralta. I like the discount on there. All of those guys are going to be sub 10% ownership likely. All get good matchups. Zach Gallen gets a pitcher's park. Pretty cool weather out there in San Fran. I like him. Gallen's been good. This Giants lineup is just not any good. I mean, they got 4 bats that are striking out over 30% in this projected lineup against right-handed pitching at home. Gallen, 26% K rate on the season. I think he's a great play there, and you're saving $2,000 off of Spencer Strider there. So it's not, hey, is Spencer Strider going to get blown up? I don't think he's going to get blown up, but title at 12-5, what do you need on a 14-game slate with the bats? I mean, you really need a lot of things to go your way for Spencer Strider to really kind of get there, in my opinion. I mean, he could get 28 points and not even be on the winner, right? We've seen that multiple times with Spencer Strider on even smaller slates. So that's kind of the reason there. I like Zach Gallen. I like Freddie Peralta. Freddie Peralta coming off 13 strikeouts last start, his best start of the year. Now against this Washington team who got to Corbin last night a little bit, but I still think it's a pretty decent matchup overall for Freddie. Freddie's pitching well. I typically like him a little bit better at home, but man, he's got a 28% K rate on the year. His strikeouts are there. Obviously, fastball Freddie. When he's locating that fastball, it's tough to get by him. The only issue is Nationals team strikeouts just 16% on the season against righties at home. So he is going to need his stuff, his best stuff there. But sub 5% ownership coming off a 13 strikeout game. I think Freddie is decent, a decent option, especially at his price point. Just $9,400 for his upside. I think is fine there. And then Pablo Lopez is the other guy. Gets these St. Louis Cardinals. I think he's got a good matchup. This Cardinals lineup, 2 guys in there, Tyler O'Neill, Taylor Motter, both striking out over 30%. Some other guys in there in the 23, 24% range. So I think he's got some K upside. Pablo Lopez, 30+% K rate on the season. So that's what I'm looking for up in this top tier is guys with strikeout upside that could match or come close to matching Spencer Strider at a cheaper price, I should say. Framber Valdez, I just don't think he's enough of a discount against the low strikeout Cleveland team. Ground ball pitcher and Framber, he can go out there and game manage. Yeah, could he get you 18, 20, 22 DraftKings points? I think so, but can he match 30, 35 that Strider could put up for a cheaper price point? I just don't think he comes close to that personally, so I'm out on that. And then the other guy that's interesting to me is Justin Steele, because if you look at our lovely pitcher rankings over here that we have used all season long, all the metrics, likes Justin Steele quite a bit here. I'm seeing right around 10% projected ownership on Justin Steele. Steele's been good, man. All-star for the NL. I do think he's an interesting play here at home. I haven't looked at the weather. Have you looked at the weather in
80 degrees, winds blowing sideways? It's not like a truest. I wouldn't say it's the best pitching. It's pretty moderate. August 1st in Wrigley, nothing crazy.
Yeah, but the thing is it's a lefty versus these Reds, man. These Reds on the road. I mean, Ellie De La Cruz, 40% Ks on the road this season. Joey Votto, 43% K rate. Encarnacion, 50% K rate in his limited sample. I mean, there's just strikeouts to be had here. Steele, I think Steele can post a nice score here at 9,100. So that's kind of the range up here. I'm out on the rest of these guys. So ranking this range for me, I think I'm going to go Zach Gallen, number 1. I'll go Pablo Lopez, number 2, Justin Steele 3, Freddie Peralta 4. Spencer Strider would be 5th, but it's just due to salary, due to the offenses that I like. They're expensive. I need to save salary somewhere.
Yeah, great breakdown there. And if you're fading Strider, he's definitely going to be the highest owned. Doesn't sound like you like Lynn below. That means you can eat chalk at bats if you want. How I like it, yeah, I definitely love Strider. I mean, that 9.5K prop, the next highest on the slate, 6.5, pretty much even money for Pablo Lopez. 3 strikeouts higher. And again, like I mentioned, very few pitchers umps behind the dish today. Strider does get 1. Should have a lot of run support. There's enough cheap options too, which makes me like even outside of Lynn, there's enough cheap guys I think you can pair him with. Always enough cheap bats to mix in. So I definitely love Strider. Going down Framber, I'm with you. I mean, 11.1K, a 4.5K prop. I just can't get to that. Better real-life pitcher, not a good strikeout matchup against Cleveland. I'd rather try and get the upside with the Pablo Lopez right below him. I agree with you on Zach Gallen, though. He's my favorite besides Strider. Out of Valdez, Lopez, Gallen, he is my favorite. I just love. I'm going to go to the other side in San Fran. Hopefully, it is Alex Cobb today, like it's looking like, and it's not going to get. He's not going to get scratched like he did on the show. But 58 degrees, 55 degrees in San Fran. I like both pitchers in that game. So sign me up for Zach Gallen right there. No Eflin for me. Yeah, Freddie's interesting because he does have the upside where if someone was going to match a Spencer Strider, like Freddie could do it at 9.4K coming off a monster performance against these Reds last time out. But Washington just hasn't been a team I've loved to pick on. Like you said, they don't strike out much. They put the ball in play. They work counts. It's only 80 degrees at least there. It's not 85, 90. So I like them at 9.4. You do get a discount, 1,100 from Gallen. You get 2,100 from Strider. So he would definitely be in the pool. Kind of mixed on him, though, because I haven't been picking on Washington. Bryce Miller, I like Justin Steele way more in this range, like you said. 9.1K, he would be the guy. No Rodon. Justin Steele would be the guy. Ranks really well in our rankings. Has pitched very well, like you said. And talking about since he has been bad against lefties. So how I rank this range, I definitely love Strider. I think it's good chalk. Number 2 would be Gallen, and number 3 would be Steele. Peralta would be 4 on that list. We'll keep it moving, though. We'll go down 9K and below. Let's see if I want to make what do you want to do, Nades? You want to go like 7K to 9K? You want to talk about all? Let's talk about all of them because I don't think there's enough cross-offs in this list that you're not going to get to. But 9K and below, a couple that stand out. We mentioned Lance Lynn, 7.9K, a big favorite. Good K, or I don't even see a K prop on him actually, but he gets a great matchup against Oakland. However, if he's going to be 40% owned, something like that, I'd much rather play the Strider chalk and pivot. Alex Cobb right there for 300 more. Sign me up for him. People have been talking about Bradish and talking about Brian Bello. Going down even farther, Andrew Heaney, 6.6K. Good K prop, 5.5. Jutes on the over. The other guy I think that will get some ownership down here, Oviedo at 6.2K against Detroit. Again, 5.5K prop for cheap. So the Heaneys, the Oviedos, like if you pair Strider and one of those two guys, you still have plenty for bats. Another guy I'll mention too, Ryu. And I need to talk about Mikolas because I see Jake talking about him. And Ryu, I haven't seen that name in so long, making his first start in about, I think it's over a year. Was surprised to see him on the slate, but there's definitely viable options down low. The guys up top feel a lot safer, but if you want to play Padres, you want to play Braves, you want to play Dodgers, you do need a value come down here a little bit, and that's where you have been having a lot of success as of late. So what you doing 9K and below?
Yeah, I'll start at the top. Brian Bello gets a really good matchup here. I just wish he was cheaper. I don't like the price point, $8,900. Just not enough of a discount off of those guys up top. I'd rather just find $300 or $200. And get up to Justin Steele if I'm up there, or play Freddie, one of those guys. I see a lot of talk about Freddie versus Washington. I get it, right? Washington's pesky. CJ Abrams is a complete utter stud in there, but I do think the Brewers have run support here tonight. Freddie's locked in right now, and when I agree with riding hot hands in baseball. That's kind of what we talked about yesterday. What's his face from Chicago, right? Stroman. I said Stroman's having his worst month of the season. He's been really bad. Goes out there, throws 2 Ks in the first inning, and then gets lit up. Well, Freddie's the complete opposite right now, coming off his best start of the season. He's cruising right now. That's the reason for that. So Bello's just too expensive for me. He does get a really good matchup. Seattle strikes out over 26%. I can't do it with the price tag there. Kyle Bradish, I think people are going to go to Kyle Bradish here. They just saw what Kyle Gibson did last night against the same Toronto team. I can't do it. Again, I like cheaper guys, and I like one of those guys right next to them, Mr. Alex Cobb. Right back to the well tonight, Alex Cobb. It's 57 degrees in San Francisco. Worst hitting conditions, worst weather on the entire slate. They're probably in snowsuits out there in San Fran with that weather. Up here, we're in shorts and tank top in Wisconsin. We're built different up here in this neck of the woods. But out west, Title, they don't like that weather. And let me tell you, these players definitely would rather hitting in Truist Park there in 90-plus degrees, I'm sure. So Alex Cobb, my SP1 on the slate at his price point. I was going to play him last night. Sounds like you were going to go in on him last night too. Obviously, they pulled the shenanigans there. He gets scratched, but he is slated to start here. I think he has a good matchup here. So I like Alex Cobb. Nice little pivot right there off Lance Lynn, $300 more. Lance Lynn, 50% ownership projected right now. I'm seeing right around 45%. That's crazy, man. $300 more. You put him in a vacuum. You're going to tell me there's 1/5. You're going to give me 5-1 odds that Cobb can outscore Lance Lynn. I'll take that every time. So that's where I'm going. I'm going Alex Cobb off for Lance Lynn. Lance Lynn's interesting, man. It's just 7,900. It gets the athletics, right? 30% K rate on the season against righties. Dodgers should smash Waldichuk, should smash the Oakland bullpen. Lynn should be in line for the win. I think he's fine. He also has a good leash, right? Going to throw probably 100 and some pitches. So I do think he's fine. It's just there's so many options in the Lance Lynn range. Like Alex Cobb, like I talked about, there's some guys cheaper, right? Oviedo that I like. Heaney that I don't mind. That's where I'm kind of going to just get different. So I'm going to fade both talk pitchers tonight. That's just the stance I'm going to take. I do think Lance Lynn does have a good matchup. It's just I like Alex Cobb a little bit more at a fraction of the ownership. Like I said, 5-1 odds. I'll take that every time. Title, you're a pretty sharp betting man there. I'm sure you'd take that every time as well, right? People are going to give you 5-1 odds that Cobb can outscore Lynn on a one-game slate. You'll take that. So that's where I'm siding with. Rue is interesting. First major league start in over a year. He did throw 4 rehab starts that I was looking into. Last rehab start did go 85 pitches. He's kind of a wild card. I think on a smaller slate, I would have more interest in him at 7K in this matchup against Baltimore. But, man, there's other options for cheaper that I just don't think you need to take the risk, really, on a 14-game slate personally. 85 pitches last rehab start. Baltimore just roughed up what's his face last night a little bit. Bassett, but Bassett did get the strikeout salvaged a little bit. Like I said, right? We're just strikeout hunting with that price point on Bassett. So I'm going to take a wait and see approach on Rue. He could have a good game, but first major league start facing Baltimore, who can hit the ball pretty well. I'm gonna wait on him. Mikolas against Minnesota, right? Gets the coveted matchup against the Twins. Twins striking out over 30% against righties. Man, it's interesting. It's a great matchup. Mikolas, though, 16% K rate on the year, man. That's a tough pill to swallow at 6,900. He also doesn't have a very good projection in this range either. I'm out on him. Gavin Williams, I'm out on him against Houston. I actually like Andrew Heaney and Oviedo down on the bottom. Two guys that I like. I like Oviedo at the discount. I think he's going to come in lower owned. Andrew Heaney, I think, is going to be the guy that gets steamed, right? Everyone looks at Lance Lynn and says, oh, Lance Lynn, 40, 50% ownership. Okay, let's cut some of that. Let's drop down a little bit, go to Andrew Heaney, right? Back at home against White Sox. White Sox are kind of tanking right now. Traded Lance Lynn, trading guys away, traded Jake Berger, just got traded to the Marlins. So I'm going to go down at the bottom. I'm going to go Oviedo and then Andrew Heaney. So ranking this lower tier for me, I really don't have a lot of interest in any of these guys outside of 3. Alex Cobb, number 1 for me, Oviedo, number 2, and then Andrew Heaney would be the third there for me. I mean, I don't really have any interest in any of these other guys. I just don't think Mikolas has the strikeout stuff to really compete against these Twins, even though they do strike out a ton.
Yeah, good breakdown. And people, we were talking in chat, Jake Berger did just get traded. He was in the 7 hole for the White Sox, so just got traded. He's going to be out. Definitely a bump to Heaney. I do agree with you, though. I think everyone's going to keep talking about Lance Lynn and Strider's the pairing. If you don't go Lynn and you want a cheap SP2, it's going to be Heaney. It's going to be Oviedo. Like, at what point, if Heaney's 25%, 30%, like, at what point is his ownership even too much? Which makes me, I hate clicking Mikolas' name. I pretty much never do. He has one of the higher K props he's had on the year, though, 5.5, some juice on the under, but a little bit. There is strikeouts, like you said, to be had in this Minnesota lineup. And if he's going to be 5%, 6% owned, just because he's right in the middle of Lance Lynn and Heaney, you can sign me up for 5% when Lynn's going to be 35, Heaney's going to be 25. I would take my shot there. Ryu's kind of interesting too. I mean, he might be 4% owned, 3% owned. Those would be the 2 guys right in that dead range behind Lynn or between Lynn and Heaney that I think I would make a case for. No Manning, no Gavin Williams, no Sandoval, no Lively. I definitely like Alex Cobb a lot, though. Bello's the other one, too. 8.9K, I much prefer Steele for 200 more. Freddie's 500 more, I much prefer. But I think that'll also keep Bello down 5% owned, something like that. And he does grade out well in our pitcher rankings over here at SHIPIT Nation. So I agree with you. I like Oviedo. I like Heaney. You're not playing any Strider or Lance Lynn. So, I mean, you can play any of those guys and feel good about it. I just think that Strider-Heaney pairing probably more popular than people initially think.
I think it's going to be – I think it's going to – people are going to start with Spencer Strider. People are going to start with Lance Lynn. They're going to fill in their bats, and then they're going to figure out, okay, well, I need more salary. What are they going to do? They're going to drop Lance Lynn down to Andrew Heaney. That's just what people are going to do. I'm sure if I looked at Hoops content right now, he'd have them both in the cash pool. Well, title, you do the cash pool, but in his slate plan, he typically likes to play the chalkier pitchers, does a very good job differentiating. Myself, personally, I'm playing one lineup tonight, so I'm just going to take my chances and get different at pitcher and kind of condense on their high-priced bats that I love tonight. So that's kind of where I'm going, but I do think it's either going to be Andrew Heaney and Strider or Lance Lynn, and Strider is clearing away the chalk. I mean, we haven't seen chalk like this in feels like a couple weeks at least at pitcher when we're talking through it, at least multiple guys like this.
Yeah, on a 14-game slate, it's definitely crazy. Andrew, we're not on bats yet, but the Dodgers will definitely be higher owned than the Orioles. Yeah, we'll wrap up pitching. Again, I think like if you go like a Steele Peralta, Gallen, even like a Gallen Lopez, that's definitely expensive. But if you only play one of Strider, Lynn, or Heaney, you are going to be pretty different. You can play more popular bats. However, it's also a 14-game slate. Plenty of good offenses. A lot of them are going to be low owned too. I mean, outside of the Padres, the Braves, people are going to play some of the Dodgers. And there's always some cheap people in the top of the order with some good implied totals. I think the Pirates are the cheap stack people might get to fill in rosters too. You can always play Lynn. I think on this slate, you can play Lynn and Strider together, get different at bats, play all guys that are 10% or lower, 10 or low owned stack, and you can do it that way too. There's just on a 14-game slate with so many good pitching options. Strider a tier of his own for me, but outside of him, that's why I expect multiple of these guys to outscore Lance Lynn. I mean, he's in a good spot, no doubt about it, but give me Cobb, Bello, like Justin Steele, all those guys can definitely outscore.
I do want to bring
up.
I do want to bring up Jose Quintana because I see some chat talk on Jose Quintana in the chat because he is 6,100. Man, it's 95 degrees in Kansas City. Kansas City is a better offense at home. Quintana, his strikeouts just haven't been there since his return. I do think eventually he runs back into form, but I really don't feel like pitching pitcher against a team that can hit a little bit better at home in 95-degree weather with some wind kind of blowing across the field. So I'm out on Quintana. I get the reasoning for it. He's going to be unowned, but I would just find $100 and get up to Oviedo, to be honest with you. Like I said, ownership's not going to matter that much on Oviedo.
Yeah, I like it. Let's go top 4 pitchers. I'm definitely going Strider 1. I like the chalk. I mean, like I said, I haven't projected 5 points higher than anybody else. And then if you take away Lance Lynn, who I think is I have second highest projected, it's like 7 points above, 9.5 K prop, 3 higher than the next highest on the slate. Has run support. I like the chalk. I totally get it. You can always fade chalk in baseball. Number 2, I mean, I would say Gallon, but I'm playing Strider, I'll probably go Alex Cobb at 8.2K. I love that price. You get the pivot from Lance Lynn, and of course, he's going to get some ownership right in that range too. People are going to try and be sneaky. Lynn right to Cobb 300 or more, but he's definitely going to be a fraction of the ownership there. So I'll go Cobb 2, Gallon 3, Justin Steele 4. What do you got today? Top 4.
Yeah, I'll go Alex Cobb number 1 for me. I just like him. I will go Justin Steele number 2. I like his upside up at the top there. Everyone's going to click the game log and see what Cincinnati did last time. People are so game log and results oriented in DFS. It's crazy. So I like him at the upside there. I'll go Oviedo number 3, Zach Gallen 4 for me. So I kind of like two guys up at the top, 2 lower tier guys. You can kind of make whatever work with your bats that you like.
Yeah, I like it. Ham was just saying he has Strider projected 10 points higher than everybody else on FanDuel. Yeah, he's only 11.3K on FanDuel 2.
FanDuel. So let me talk on that for sure. FanDuel, I think he's far and away. I mean, I would consider like even lock buttoning him on FanDuel just because the gap isn't as much on FanDuel, and strikeouts and quality start and win are so much more valuable on FanDuel. He's just way too cheap. Whereas like I like Zach Gallen a lot, and he's $2,000 cheaper on DraftKings. That $2,000 goes a long ways on DraftKings, whereas FanDuel, the gap isn't as big. So I do think Spencer Strider is clearing away like head and shoulders above the rest of the field on FanDuel for sure.
Yeah, I totally agree there. But ownership's going to follow as well. So you can always make a case there. That price tag is too cheap. No, that's pitching on this 14-game slate. Strider, probably the chalkiest. I think he does come in higher than Lance Lynn. At the end of the day, I wouldn't be shocked. Lance Lynn was a little higher owned just because people want to jam expensive bats and that price difference. But Strider, Lynn for sure. I think Heaney, though, gets steamed and is number 3 right there. That's the pitcher rankings. And again, check our pitcher rankings over here at SHIPITNation.com. It's something I look at every single day. Have been money, hitter rankings, stack rankings to go along with projections, which you need to compete in DFS. And core plays, Nades, Hamwich, G. Risen, Hoop does slate plan, his favorite pitchers, his favorite stacks. G. Risen does that as well. If you play cash games, got a cash report as well. And if you do join SHIPITNation.com, $59 a month, $599 a year, which comes out to about $49. Get in the Discord. We were talking yesterday when I decided I was going to jump off Coors, tagged everyone in the MLB chats. If you want notifications, you do have to go. You can turn on notifications for any sport. If you don't play PGA, you're not going to get blown up every time we do tag the PGA chat. Make sure to turn your notifications on. Nate's posts sometimes when he plays 2-3 lineups. His secondary cores in there. Members always dropping knowledgeable stuff in the Discord as well. So no better price, $59, $599 a year. NFL coming up, best ball content, PGA, MMA, NBA will be here before we know it with projections as well. Love to have you at Chip Nation. Let's get those likes up too. Let's get 150 today. I think we can do it. Subscribe button right there helps us out a ton. 14 games, Nades. Buckle in. First game of the night. Our Tampa Bay Rays taking on the New York Yankees. Zach Eflin, Carlos Rodon on the mound. We didn't really talk about Carlos Rodon. I don't think he's the craziest play either. He definitely has the upside. I just don't think the downside is worth it on a slate like this. But the Rays treated us well yesterday. I like a lot other teams on this slate more. I will give you a shout out though. Jake Bauers, he called that one yesterday too. He went deep. So many other better spots in this game though. Rays did it for us yesterday. I'm jumping off. What about you?
Yeah, I'll bring up Jake Bauers again because guess what, Title? He's 2,300 batting in the leadoff spot. Dude smashes right-handed pitching. 2,300 with power. I mean, 311 ISO on the year. That's in the contention with Aaron Judge. Billy McKinney, another cheap guy. I always bring those two guys up. Both are super cheap, 2,300 at the outfield. Nice value options, lefties against the righty. Short porch in right field again in Yankee Stadium. So those two is one-offs for me. Obviously, you can always one-off Aaron Judge. But yeah, no really bats in this one for me. I like other spots way more. Just those value guys there for me.
I like it. Keep it rolling. Next game on the slate: Pittsburgh Pirates, Detroit Tigers. Matt Manning, Johan Oviedo. You like Oviedo? I like him a little bit. So Tigers will be low owned for sure. 75 degrees, 78 degrees, wind blowing out a bit. I think people will. We don't have this Pittsburgh lineup out yet unless it came out recently. No, I don't see it yet. They're going to be so cheap, though. I mean, this projected lineup, nobody above 4.5K, majority of the lineup in the 2Ks. On a slate, people want to play Strider. On a slate, people want to play Padres, Braves, etc. People are going to go to, I think, to some of these Pirates, if I keep saying some of these Pirates a little bit, 4.17 total. Matt Manning's not good. They're pretty much free, so I think I'd rather go to some other spots personally, but I do think they'll be used a little bit as mini stacks to fill out lineups. What do you like in this game?
Yeah, I'm seeing Pittsburgh is a top 6 owned stack, and you nailed it. It's due to salary, but I think they're fine. I mean, Matt Manning's not any good. I like Oviedo a little bit, so that just makes me, especially if I like him. Usually I like the bats a little bit when I like pitchers. That typically tends to happen. Jack Sawinski, Reynolds, G-Man Choi. I mean, tons of power there. Probably going to bat cleanup, 2,600. Smashes righties and gets a bad one here in Matt Manning. So like these lefties for the Pirates. I don't think they're the craziest. Andrew McCutchen, 3,600. I mean, they're cheap. So I don't mind it. Like it more as a mini stack. I don't think it's a 5-man stack upside. Again, I love the Dodgers here. I think the Braves are a good flop leg spot as well. So Pirates are fine for me, more of a mini stack. I think they can get to Manning, and then the Tigers complete stay away spot for me.
I like it. Lockstep right there, keeping it rolling. Next game on the slate: Milwaukee Brewers, Washington Nationals. Freddie Peralta, Josiah Gray, 80 degrees. I'm not picking against Freddie Peralta. 3.19 total for the Nats on a 14-game slate. You can mention your CJ Abrams. I'll let you always talk about him. As far as the Brew Crew, though, I mean, Yelich, you can definitely play Yelich. He's absolutely been on fire. 5.6K, pretty low owned. I think he will be. People want to play the Tatis, the Machados of the world, the Acuñas of the world. So definitely like him, but I'd rather go to some of these Brewers. You got cheap options at the bottom of the order, even in the middle of the order. Santana, Frelick. There's enough guys in here where I think you can use the Brewers as a cheap mini stack if you are spending for Strider, spending up, guaranteed 9th inning at bat, solid hitting weather. What do you got in this one?
Yeah, I actually like these Brewers lefties a little bit. Christian Yelich locked into plate right now. Carlos Santana, Sal Frelick, Abraham Toro, Bryce Terang. Give me some of these lefties. I mean, looking at the last 30-day numbers, Josiah Gray, just 15% K rate to left-hand side of the plate. And opponent batters hitting for 250 ISO and over a 450 WOBA. So I do like him quite a bit. His ground balls are a little bit lower as well to the left side of the plate. So hopefully some of these Brewers lefties can get the ball up in the air there. I like those guys. I think they're a viable mini stack. They're going to be a very low owned 5-man, I think. I think the Brewers are going to be more owned in terms of a mini stack. But again, ownership just doesn't really matter too much outside of obviously playing the Spencer Strider, playing the Lance Lynn combination. Really, you can kind of do whatever you want with bats. So that's kind of the route I took. I didn't look at ownership in terms of bats because I'm not playing the chalk pitching pairing. But, yeah, I like the Brewers a little bit here, especially the lefties. And then C.J. Abrams, I mean, you can always play this dude. He's just so versatile, can hit for power, steals bases. I mean, the dude just does it all. 4K at the shortstop position. I don't mind that. But outside of that, I'm not going to any of these Nationals against Freddie here.
Yeah, and you must have mentioned G-Man Choi for Pirates. He did get traded. Hamwich said that. Warren Tyler, too. We don't have the lineup out yet. We will, even if he didn't get traded, he wasn't in it. But, yes, he got traded to the Padres. With the trade deadline tomorrow, plenty of news and stuff is going to come out. Trades are going to come out on this show. We've already had multiple already. So, yeah, Berger got traded. Monitor.
Yeah, Erod. Erod. That's a funny one. Erod. They had a trade worked out, and he had the Dodgers on one of his 10 team no trade clause. So not sure what he was smoking there, because he has a pretty good chance to win a ring as long as the Dodgers can beat the Braves to get there. So not sure what he was doing. He's not going to win a ring in Detroit. I'll tell him that right now. But yeah, that was an interesting news that did drop during the show.
Yeah, no, it's exciting time. So yeah, today and tomorrow, monitor your phone. People, like we saw, Berger was in the confirmed lineup, then got traded. White Sox will be doing stuff. You'll have to monitor that even after lock. You never know what will happen in the trade deadline. So monitor that. G-Man did get traded to the Pirates. Keeping it moving again. We appreciate everybody out there watching. Over 200. Appreciate it if you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button for us. Baltimore Orioles, Toronto Blue Jays, Kyle Bradish, Hyun Jin Ryu. I just call him Ryu. Probably butchered his first name. However, I don't know. They're not going to get enough ownership, Bradish or Ryu, to stack against them. Only 8.5 total. Not a hitter's park. There's other spots I'd rather go. But, hey, if you're playing a Strider, Lance Lynn, or something like that, you go to one of these two teams, they're going to be completely unknown. I prefer the Baltimore side. Ryu making his first major league start in over a year. A lot of cheap bats in this lineup as well to let you pay up at other spots, have some pop too. So if I had to pick, it'd be the Orioles, but there's so many other teams I like more. So pretty much an X again. What about you?
Yeah, don't sleep on the O's here tonight against the lefty. I mean, Adley Rutschman, Ryan Mountcastle, lefty smasher there. Guy's making his first start in over a year in the majors. I get it, right? A couple rehab starts there, but this is the big leagues. Faces a really good team here in Baltimore. Baltimore's having a hell of a season, and they got guys that can smash in this lineup. Even Gunnar Henderson down there in the 5-hole. I mean, he smashes lefty, doesn't matter. Tons of speed. Over the last 30 days, I mean, just a 4% K rate lefty. He's going to put the ball in play. Jordan Westberg's cheap. Jorge Mateo's back in there. I don't love him, but man, I do think these O's are in play for me. I don't hate them. Santander, Gunnar Henderson, Rutschman, Ryan Mountcastle. I don't think they're the craziest play. I mean, it's just a bet on, hey, it's the unknown, right? Fear of the unknown. People aren't going to play these O's. We have seen the O's win plenty of slates on the season already. So looking at I didn't see if the roof is open or closed in Toronto.
I'm looking right. I was looking right now. I saw the comment on it. I haven't seen it yet. Let's see.
I know it was open yesterday. But if it's open again, I'm just looking at the weather. But either way, I do think the O's are definitely in play. They're not going to get any ownership really here. And it's just a bet on unknown. I've stacked against prospects or guys making their first start all year. And now you get a guy that hasn't pitched in the majors in over a year. So I don't hate it. Not the greatest hitting conditions. If that roof is open, I'm seeing in the 70s, some slight wind blowing out. But obviously if that roof is closed, it's a different story. But don't think their O's are the craziest. On the Blue Jays side, they're a pass for me on this slate. I just like other spots better. Not going to pick on a guy that I do have interest in or think is a quality pitcher in Kyle Bradish. So,
yeah, I haven't seen any word on the roof being open. I don't even know if that assumes that it's closed, but look into that. I haven't seen any tweets about that. I don't know if you have to call the hotline like you do in Milwaukee or whatnot, but yeah. And Paraby, yeah, I'll give you you mentioned the O's. The first comment before we even got on the show, you said stack the O's in print. So Paraby likes the O's. I think they're sneaky. Probably prefer them as a 3-man, but they're going to be unknown, no doubt about that. Allows you to eat chalk everywhere else. Next game on the slate, Los Angeles Angels, Atlanta Braves, Patrick Sandoval, Spencer Strider. Indeed, the Braves are facing a lefty this time. Good total, 5.6. Wind blowing out, 88 degrees, 90 degrees. I mean, man, the Braves let down yesterday. This lineup, though, I mean, it's always good. Kevin Pillar's in there, 2.1K, so you can play him. He's absolutely free. Other than that, though, everybody is 4K and more. There's enough cheap pitching on this slate. There's also, if you 5-man stack the Braves, you can 3-man stack another team like the Brewers, like the Pirates, something like that for very cheap. how do they rank amongst like the Padres? How do they rank amongst like the Dodgers, stuff like that on this slate where you do have to pay up for the big bats if you want them?
Yeah, I think the Braves are interesting here. Nice little flop leg built in. I'm seeing very, very low ownership. I mean, sub 3% ownership in terms of total stack. And anytime you get that with the Braves, with an offense like the Braves, I mean, you have to have interest here. They still have a 5.5 implied run total. 5.87 is what we have it at against Sandoval here. Sandoval, 18% K rate on the season. Has been good, fine in terms of game managing, but man, he heads into a 90-degree hot and humid Truist Park, hot Atlanta. With some slight wind blowing out there. So sign me up for these Braves. I like the Braves quite a bit. I like the Dodgers a little bit more. I just think Waldichuk's much worse than Sandoval. Bad bullpen. I mean, historically bad bullpen in terms of Oakland behind Waldichuk as well. So that's why the Dodgers are ahead of the Braves for me. But Braves are number 2 for me here, especially at the ownership discount. I mean, it's hard to ignore any of these guys. Ozuna, Sean Murphy, Meadows, Austin Riley. Those top 6. I love those guys. Arcia is always low owned there. Kevin Pillar, 2,100, nice value play. You never see that really in the Braves lineup, so that makes the stack definitely more affordable. Michael Harris is up to 4,500 now at the 9 hole. I think he's still going to go way under owned. He can do it lefty. I don't really matter because I don't expect Sandoval to be in there too long when he's facing guys like Acuna, Austin Riley, Meadows, those guys up at the top. So love the Braves here. Think they're great, firmly in play. On the Angels side, I don't think there's really any case to play any of the Braves or the Angels against Spencer Strider, the best pitcher. I mean, you're stacking against a pitcher that has a 40% K rate. If I picked any of them, it would be some of these guys like obviously Ohtani, Mickey Moniak, some of these lefties. But again, don't love it. Think there's much better spots to go to. But it is still 40-50% owned pitcher that is the most expensive guy on the slate. In good hitting conditions, you could definitely do crazier things, but not for me.
Yeah, like I'd rather go play those O's that are pretty much going to be unknown. There's enough teams that have a team total 1 run higher, if not more. They're still hardly going to be owned. Yes, you don't get the leverage off a chalk pitcher, but yeah, I mean, I don't like playing the Angels. I'll just say that. But at the end of the day, game theory wise, they're going to be 1% owned. I guess you can do it, but no Angels for me. The Braves. So how would you rank the Braves amongst? I guess I'll ask you that question later. We'll get to stacks and all that later because we still have a lot of good teams to talk about. But there's plenty of teams, a lot of good hitting, big team totals out there, good hitting weather out there. So yeah, the Braves. I don't think they'll be low owned necessarily, but low-ish owned. I mean, for the Braves with the 5.7 team total, 90 degrees weather, they're going to be lower owned than they are in most slates due to just a 14-game slate and so many good spots. So, yeah, go right back to the Braves. I definitely do like that. Next game, Minnesota Twins, St. Louis Cardinals, Pablo Lopez, Miles Mikolas, 88 degrees, 90 degrees, so it is warm in St. Louis. I had some interest in both these pitchers, Mikolas because of the price tag, the ownership in that dead range. I mean, I don't love these Twins, and Pablo Lopez, there's a lot worse pitchers we can attack on this slate. So another big X for me in this one. What about you?
Yeah, not a ton of interest here. Maybe a little bit of interest in some of these Minnesota lefties, Julian, those guys, but really not a ton of interest. Kind of a stay away spot. It's just bet on the last 30-day numbers for Julian, Kepler, Buxton, those guys, Matt Wallner. They remain cheap. Lefties in there, good weather. I don't hate it. They've treated me good, especially that Julian Kepler mini stack there has treated me really well. Matt Wallner still just 2,400. He's been hitting bombs left and right. So don't hate it, but I prefer to go elsewhere on the slate.
Thank you for correcting me, Aztec. It is today. It's not tomorrow. It's today at I think it's 6 Eastern. You must be in 6 Eastern today. So we should have the trades will be done before the slate. I thought it was tomorrow. Thank you for pointing that out. And we also got the roof. There you go, Andrew Martinez. They are reporting that the roof will be open today in Toronto. So I don't know why I thought it was Wednesday, but I'm glad. I think NBA is always on a Wednesday, but I'm glad it's tonight. Then we don't have to worry about even after the slate. In a little bit, all the trades will be in. So the phones will be buzzing, though, in the next 45 minutes. Keeping it rolling. Next game on the slate, Chicago White Sox, Texas Rangers. It's going to be a bullpen game for Chicago. Jesse Schulten's guy on the mound. Andrew Heaney on the mound for Texas. If I was going to probably stack against any team or any chalk pitcher, I would play the White Sox against Heaney, guaranteed ninth inning at bat. However, there's better pitchers, or there's worse pitchers to target on this slate. So I don't love the White Sox, but if you're talking Strider, you're talking Lance Lynn, talking Andrew Heaney, I would much rather, or I'd definitely prefer picking on Andrew Heaney of the bunch. But again, give me the O's, give me low owned stacks instead of playing the White Sox. As far as the Rangers, yeah, man, the Rangers look to be in a pretty good spot. They are going to get some ownership, but again, so many good spots. Ownership's going to really eat into each other outside of the Padres, and that's depending on the weather and how it looks there. But Rangers, not a great bullpen. Schulten's dude is for the 1 inning, 2 innings, maybe 3 innings he's in. He's no good. The Texas lineup is nice. Cheap pieces at the bottom of the order. Expensive guys, Semien, Adolis, Jung you can play. I like this Texas team for sure. What are your thoughts on the ownership? I'm interested in your thoughts there. And what are your thoughts then comparing them to the Braves, the Padres, and other teams on this slate?
Yeah, I just don't see a ton of ownership going to Texas here. I have the Texas as number 3 right now in the state on the slate. I always play these guys at home, especially against a righty. I was just pulling up the bullpen usage here, looking at the White Sox bullpen. Obviously, the bulk of their arms in the bullpen are right-handed. They do have a couple lefties in there, but I mean, they're still going to see, I don't know, 2 or 3 innings of this Schulten's guy, and then probably a lefty might come in. But still, I like the Texas side here. I mean, 5.6 implied run total, low ownership on these guys at home. One of the best, I mean, you could say top 3 offense in all of baseball. At least they have been. So they hit home runs. I like these guys. I don't see a ton of ownership going to them. Dolis Garcia, my guy Zeke Duran down there, 3,700. He is only shortstop eligible now with Corey Seager not been out injured. So they have changed him from dual position to just shortstop. But shortstop's typically a pretty weak position. Zeke Duran in there can smash bombs. I like him. Tavares. Don't love really Brad Miller too much down there because likely especially if they do pull in a lefty after Schulten's leaves the game, which Miller's likely coming out. Same with Janikowski there in the 2-hole. So those 2 guys probably pinch hit risk once a lefty comes in if they do pull one. But it's just so hard to predict what they're going to do in a bullpen game. But yeah, I do like the Rangers here. White Sox side, you can always make a case to play the White Sox. I would have liked Jake Berger a ton against a lefty here in a chalkier lefty at that matter. But obviously he did get traded. So do not play Jake Berger. He will not be in the lineup there. He's headed out to Miami. But still, Luis Robert, Eloy Jimenez hit lefties pretty well. Just nice little mini stack there. They're going to hit I haven't seen the updated lineup, but they were going to hit 3 and 4. I'm assuming it's probably the same with the new lineup. They're just going to transition Jake Berger out there for someone else. Andrew Vaughn's still pretty cheap. So definitely prefer the Rangers side, White Sox side, just the Luis Robert, Eloy Jimenez for me.
Yeah, we don't have an updated White Sox lineup yet. It hasn't came out yet. So keep an eye on that. It's not going to be much different, though. Next game on the slate, again, 14 games, a lot to get through. Appreciate that like, appreciate that subscribe button. Not as much time to engage with chat, though. So many games. Cincinnati Reds, Chicago Cubs, Ben Lively, Justin Steele, 80 degrees in Wrigley. Wind does not mean much today. It's going across the field. I like Justin Steele. No Cincinnati Reds for me. As far as the Cubs, though, I have a little interest in the Cubs again. Ben Lively, much worse against lefties. I love Ian Happ right there. Cody Bellinger, talked about him a ton. Mike Tauchman, top of the order, only 3.2K. Cheap pieces in the bottom of the order as well. Yeah, I like these Cubs a little bit. Don't expect much ownership going there. Love me some Cody Bellinger, as always, though. What you got?
Yeah, I'm with you here. Is Candelario in the lineup tonight, too?
He is in the lineup. Yes, he is. 6-hole.
Yeah, so I like him. Swanson, Bellinger, Happ. Horner, Tauchman. I like all these guys, to be honest with you. Tucker Barnhart's not a sexy name by any means, but it is a lefty against a guy that strikes out under 20% of lefties over the last 30, 260 ISO, and allows 31% fly ball rate. So I don't think the Cubs are the craziest. They have a pretty good implied run total. Don't think a lot of people are going to go to them. Obviously, it's not the greatest hitting weather, but Ben Lively has struggled here. So, yeah, don't mind the Cubs. Prefer them more as a mini stack just because, like I said, I'm kind of pushing the chips in on the Dodgers, the Braves, Texas, and I'm looking for more mini stacks that are lower owned with some upside. So I think the Cubs fit that script. On the Reds side, no really interest in the Reds. I like Justin Steele here tonight, so going to be off these Cincinnati bats.
Yeah, I'm not 100% on. Let me see if DK has Candelario even in the pool. He should be, but something's telling me. Let me look at this quick.
I can pull.
Yeah,
he's
in the pool. He's in the pool.
Yeah,
3.9K. I like the Candyman for sure in the 6. So I prefer the lefties for sure. So Candyman, throw him right in there. Bellinger hat, Talkman, Candyman, and then Barnhart if you want a free catcher. Madrigal's free in the bottom 2. Sign me up for these Cubs. They're cheap. Allows you, like if you wanted a Pablo Lopez, Spencer Strider with the Cubs, I mean, that's something you can do, and it'll definitely get you on a different path, double spending at pitcher. So good call that. Love Candyman. Next game on the slate, Cleveland Guardians, Houston Astros, Gavin Williams, Framber Valdez. I respect Framber enough. He grades out well in our pitcher rankings too. I liked others' upside more for paying 11.1K, which is why I didn't love him as much. But hey, if you're out there, you like Framber Valdez, he's going to be pretty low owned, good real life pitcher. That's how you get different on a slate like this too. But no Guardians for me. As far as the Astros, got the job done yesterday. Gavin Williams also, he's another guy that ranks pretty good in our pitcher rankings too. We talk about it all the time. Doesn't mean I'm going to play Gavin Williams because I don't have interest, but it does take me off of some of these Astros. And the bats I do want are expensive. I'd rather pay up from other spots. So, yeah, Astros treat us well. Rays treated us well, but daily fantasy sports, got to put the daily in there. Don't love them today. What about you?
Yeah, I don't think the Astros are the craziest spot. I definitely like other teams better, but looking at Gavin Williams, he's definitely worse against lefties, and you got a really good lefty there in the lineup at Kyle Tucker. Obviously, the rest is right-handed here. He has been better against righties, just a 133 ISO against right-handed bats, only a 27% fly ball rate. So I don't think it's the craziest thing there to say that Houston kind of gets limited a little bit here. I think Gavin's got a pretty good arm. He will be a pretty solid pitcher in the long term, I think. So I like other spots better. Kyle Tucker, I think, is a fine one-off at 5,700. Again, lefty there. Yainer Diaz has really good numbers against righties on the year at home. Chas McCormick, same thing. But, don't love the Astros. On the Guardians side, David Fry is one guy I will bring up. Catcher, 2,500. You can play him there at the catcher. Has some power. Value guy if you need it. Last piece, you can play him at the outfield position as well, but don't really love picking on Framber on a 14-game slate. So overall, pretty down on this game for bats as well.
Like it. Lockstep there. We got 5 games left on this slate. Some good teams still to talk about. Again, appreciate the like, the subscribe button. If you do want all of our content at SHIPITNation.com, stack rankings, hitter rankings, pitcher rankings to go on with Nate's core play, Hamwich on FanDuel, G. Risen talks about his favorite stacks, pitchers, one-offs. Hoop does that for DK. And again, if you do play cash, we have a cash report over here as well. And again, if you do join, make sure to get in the Discord. No better place to be. All live updates, anything we change, we do put in the Discord. Best Ball Show tomorrow at 2 Eastern on Drafters. Big Marley and I will be going live. Always a fun time. Can ask questions. PGA still going on. MMA still going on. And football right around the corner. It's going to be very, very exciting stuff over here at SHIPITNation.com. Head over, join it, get in the Discord. We'd love to have you. Think you will like it a lot. 5 games, Nades, New York Mets, Kansas City Royals, Jose Quintana, Zach Greinke, 90 degrees, like you mentioned, in KC. The Mets, one of the higher team totals on the slate. As far as the Royals, 4.3. I mean, there's some cheap bats in this Royals lineup. I don't think it's crazy. Like, if you want to play a Salvi, fill out catcher position, use him as a one-off. Don't think that's crazy one bit. If you want another catcher, Freddie Furman, a discount, I think they're fine. Mini stack at best, though. As far as the Mets, I don't know, man. Zach Greinke, he's not gonna strike anyone out. The balls will be in play. He just feels like he never gets shelled. But it's Mets lineup. It's not confirmed yet, but plenty of pop, top to bottom. Can roll over the lineup. Guaranteed 9th inning at bat. Warm weather. How do you rank them amongst the Braves, the Padres, the Rangers? Because they're going to get some ownership. But again, I think a lot of them eats into each other today. So I say whoever your favorite stack is, play your favorite stack is how I'd go about this slate.
Yeah, I like these Mets a little bit here. I mean, Zach Greinke, last 30-day numbers, 41 plate appearances, 9% K rate, 263 ISO. I mean, he just doesn't get shelled a ton. He's got 50% ground balls, but man, these Mets can hit the ball pretty well. I mean, they all see the ball well. The top 7 projected right now all have double-digit walk rates as well over the last 30 days. Lindor, Pete Alonso, Brandon Nimmo. Alvarez down there at the catcher, I think, is a good play. Brett Beatty. So I do like these Mets here. They're cheap. They're pretty cheap overall. Pretty good weather. I mean, 95 degrees at the start of the game in Kauffman Stadium there. Guaranteed 9th at bats. Zach Greinke's not any good. He doesn't get blown up a ton, but I think that could change here tonight. Not the greatest bullpen behind Greinke as well. So I do like these Mets. I rank them ahead of Coors Field. I'm not going to play Coors Field here tonight. I'm not going to play the Padres. There's, again, weather concerns again there in Colorado as well. We didn't touch on that yet. Not quite as bad as last night, according to Roth, but it's still pretty brutal. I haven't played Coors, so I'm not going to play it here tonight on 14-game slate when I like other offenses like I do here tonight. So Mets are definitely in my top 5 on the night. On the Royals side, I don't think it's the craziest. I will bring up Bobby Witt, 5,300 shortstop against the lefty. Bobby Witt smashes left-handed pitching. Always has a stolen base upside, so I think he's a fantastic one-off, fantastic play there. Freddie Fermin has really good numbers as well, like you said, against lefties on the year. Gets the same hitting conditions there. Again, the Royals have been better at home in terms of offense. They're still not a great team by any means, but they're all cheap, very cheap outside of Bobby Witt, and they could be fine as fillers. Oliveira's in there too at the outfield, 2,600. He's got good numbers against lefties on the season as well. So definitely prefer the Mets side, one of my top 5 stacks of the day. On the Royals side, more just fillers, mainly the one-off piece in Bobby Witt there at the shortstop position.
I like it. And I had to pull up G. Risen's picture again because that clown hair is too good. Again, he does FanDuel content over here at chipandnation.com. Get all of his thoughts in the slate plan. He says Pete Alonso going deep and even said first at bat, mark it down. So there, G. Risen giving out a dong play there. He also likes Bobby Witt too. Yeah, power speed, going to be low owned at shortstop. Can always him, Salvi. Some of these Royals probably would stick to more the middle of the order. Or Royals for the middle of the order, but there's other spots on the slate I definitely like more. That's though for sure. We don't even have the lineup out yet either, but we'll have cheap pieces later throughout the lineup to go along with the big bats, Lindor, Pete Alonso. 4 games left, Nades. You already hinted at what you're doing with Coors Field, but here we go. San Diego Padres, Colorado Rockies, bullpen game for the Padres. Peter Lambert on the mound for the Rockies. Yeah, I mean, the Lambert guy, it's not necessarily a bullpen game. It's not as much of a bullpen game for the Rockies as it is the Padres, but maybe 4 innings, something like that from him. If he's pitching well, he did throw 6 last time out, but 5-3, 1-1-3. I don't know, man. These Padres, we talked about it. So the weather is a little concerning. However, like the Nationals, the worst grounds crew, the worst, whoever makes the decision in Washington's absolutely the worst when it comes to weather. And the Rockies have the best grounds crew. Yesterday, man, it was raining all game long, heavy rain too. They just kept playing. It was like a couple weeks ago when there was hail and all that. The field was soaked. They got the game in. Sounds like you're talking about from Roth, it's better weather today than yesterday. Still looks like there's rain around. I ended up swapping yesterday in cash games. I swapped off everywhere in Coors Field. Today, my plan right now is to play Coors Field, that they're going to play. There's more than 0% risk for a postpone. Know that, though. The game probably plays more than likely, though. 7 total, team total for the Padres. It busted yesterday. It's baseball. Anything can happen. Pretty similar lineup as yesterday. Tell the people why you're not going to the Padres. And then the Rockies, I will say I made the case for it yesterday. I don't love picking on bullpen games, but talking game theory, one of the highest totals on the slate, above 5. No one's going to go to this Rocky side. If they're going and taking some risk on the weather, they're going to go Padres. So I do think Rockies do come on under-owned. However, I don't love bullpen games. So, excuse me, what are you doing in this one?
Yeah, I'm just going to take my chances and fade this game, to be honest with you. I like the Dodgers. I like the Braves. I like the Rangers. I like the Mets. I just think there's so many other offenses that can match the output of the Padres. Padres aren't cheap by any means. I mean, the bats you want to play are all 5K or above. I mean, outside of Ha-Seong Kim, but he's 4,700, so he's up there pricey too. I would prefer, if you do play them, to go to the bottom of the order. Campusano there at the catcher position, Gary Sanchez, Trent Grisham. I like those guys. But yeah, I mean, I think the Padres are fine. It'd be asinine for me to come on here and say the Padres are a terrible stack option on the slate when they have a 7 total against a bad bullpen in Coors Field. That'd just be ludicrous. So I do think the Padres are fine. Personally, I'm going elsewhere on this slate. I just have about 5 or 6 teams ahead of the Padres overall. So that's where I'm going. I'm going to fade this game. On the Rockies side, I haven't played the Rockies really at all season long. Not going to start here tonight, especially against a bullpen game. So I'm overall fading this game. Going to take my chances. Hope it's like last night, and hopefully the Dodgers bring me money, or the other teams that we already talked about bring the money tonight.
Yeah, so I just refreshed Ross' weather report. It was orange yellow when we came into the show, and it's now yellow orange. He changed it to. So I think the Padres do come in the chalkiest team on the slate, though, considering if weather doesn't change there. We mentioned Real Muto scratched someone. Yeah, that game's not even on the main slate. 6:40 Eastern. So if you're playing Showdown, no, Real Muto is scratched, but main slate does not matter there. Yeah, I definitely have a little more interest on the Rockies. Probably prefer the mini stack, but we don't have the lineup out yet. But everyone's gonna more than likely below 4.5K. A lot of people in the 2Ks we should get in the lineup too. So as a cheap mini, if you're going Strider, you want Braves, something like that, you can definitely do worse than coming to these Rockies as a mini stack. Again, pretty high total, Coors Field. Everyone's going to the other side of the game. Do prefer mini stack, but I think they're pretty strong mini stack at these price tags. 3 games left. Boston Red Sox, Seattle Mariners, Brian Bello, Bryce Miller on the mound. Pitcher spark in Seattle. I like Bello. I respect Bryce Miller. Nothing for me in this game. What about you?
Yeah, nothing really for me. I mean, just maybe a mini stack or a one-off Devers, Tristan Casas there. Bryce Miller, it hasn't been great against lefties. I mean, 16% strikeout rate last 30 days to left hand. Casas has been good. Rafael Devers has been good. Yoshida's been fine, but yeah, much better spots on this slate. So mainly a stay away spot for me. I do think Brian Bello is a solid pitcher here. I just didn't like the price point compared to other options in his range. So stay away spot for bats in this one.
Just got another trade. Austin Hedges to the Rangers means nothing today, but 28 minutes till the All-Star break, till the trade deadline is over. So we don't have to worry about that going to lock like I thought. Again, I thought it was tomorrow. So that's good news. 32 more minutes or 27 minutes all over the place here. But moral of the story, all the lineups should be good. We shouldn't have any crazy things to worry about tonight. 2 games left. For me, 1 game left. Not this one. D-backs, Giants, Zach Gallen, Alex Cobb, 55 degrees, 7.5 total. I like Gallen. I like Cobb. This game beats me. It beats me. What about you?
Yeah, same. Not playing a game on a 14-game slate, 57-degree weather. I mean, this is like April baseball right now, temperature-wise. So stay away spot like both pitchers. I think you can pair both pitchers. That's a real unique way to go. Play Zach Gallen, Alex Cobb, pair both pitchers up. I always like doing that. That's always under-owned. Pretty much guaranteed 1 win at least, unless the game absolutely just goes nuclear, and then you're not going to win anyway. So I like both pitchers. No bats for me in this one, not even one-offs.
Yep, like it. How many? Yeah, I don't know how many catchers the Rangers need either, Boss Pro. Last game on the slate. Yeah, let's make a push to 100 likes, 86, 14 more, over 225 watching. We appreciate it a ton. Get you the dong of the day. G. Risen already gave his low-ish owned pitcher. We'll get on out of here. Nades, any interest? Los Angeles Dodgers, Oakland Athletics, Ken Waldachek, Lance Lynn on the mound. Again, if you want the game theory route, Lance Lynn will be one of the most popular pitchers on the slate, either 1 or 2. Don't have this Oakland Athletics team or don't have the A's lineup out yet. Going to be very low owned. You get leverage, wind blowing out a bit. I'd probably rather play the White Sox and pick on Heaney, but I don't think it's crazy to pick a couple these lefty bats out. As far as the Dodgers, yeah, second highest team total on the slate. We do have the lineup up top. You got to pay for the guys 1 through 3, 5.4K or above, but plenty of value in the bottom of the order to the 5-man stack them. Always love my guy Kiki Hernandez, an 8-hole against a lefty, second base and outfield eligibility. What do you like in this one?
Yeah, I actually like the Athletics a little bit more than most people probably will here. It's this double leverage situation. Looking at last 30-day numbers against left-handed bats, obviously I get it, right? These lefties aren't very good, but they still can hit the ball over the fence. Zach Geloff, JJ Bleday, Seth Brown. I mean, he's allowing a 375 ISO, 34% fly ball rate to the left side of the plate, just a 20% K rate. Seth Brown, also for all you BVP truthers out there, 2 bombs, 364 batting average against Lance Lynn. So nice little BVP guy there for you against the chalk pitcher. I don't hate a mini stack of some of these lefties overall in this. I mean, Seth Brown, far and away my favorite athletic, but won't be surprised to see Lance Lynn struggle a little bit here, especially at the ownership. On the flip side, Dodgers clearing away my number one stack of the day. There is a little bit of pinch hit risk in this lineup with guys like Kiki Hernandez, Outman, Chris Taylor. But my guy, Ahmed Rosario in the 4-hole tonight, shortstop, 3,800. I love him. I love these Dodgers. Love Mookie. Love Freeman, Will Smith, Muncy. Chris Taylor's fine, I think. He smashes lefties. So overall, love these Dodgers. Prefer the top half because, again, I just don't think they're as owned as – I just don't think the ownership matters really. So I'm not really worried about going to the bottom of the order here to get different. Kiki Hernandez would be my favorite down there. Not really going to play Miguel Rojas at the shortstop when Rosario's hitting fourth there. And don't really think the game theory matters too much in terms of their overall ownership on a Coors Field slate. So play the best Dodgers. That's what I'm going to do tonight and take my chances.
I love it. Great breakdown there, Nate. That's all 14 games. Man, it is it's a wild one today. Pitching, it is concentrated. Hitting, now that Padres game, it seems like it should go. I think they are the highest owned. Outside of that, I think it is relatively spread out. Let's go low-ish owned pitcher, Nades. Who's your favorite today?
Yeah, I'm going out to that game in the West Coast, 50 sub-60 degree temperatures. I'm going to the San Fran side. I'm going to Mr. $8,200 Alex Cobb to post a nice score here tonight against the D-backs.
Hurtful. I was going to go there. I should have went first. I knew it. I will say I don't want to say Zach Gallen. That's too expensive since I do like Strider a lot. I'll go Justin Steele in that Chicago game. I actually like the Cubs as a stack. We talked about lefties against Cincy. I'll go Justin Steele as my lowish owned pitcher. Let's go dong of the day. I'm going to go first. I know you're not taking them, but just in case somehow you would. I got you yesterday. I had to go low. He got the job done early, and you were going to say him. But I'll go a little Ian Happ action in the 3-hole. I like the Cubs as a sneaky stat. I think they'll be low owned. Lefties get to lively. Give me Ian Happ. Dong of the day. What you got, Nades?
Yeah, it was actually funny because I had 2 pitchers queued up. I was ready after you pulled the snipe move yesterday on me, and Justin Steele was the other one. So it looks like Title and Nades are lockstep tonight. Usually good things happen when that is the case. I'm going to give the people a little Taco Tuesday, 2-pack Tuesday here. Both cleanup hitters in the late night hammer. I'm going Seth Brown for the Athletics against Mr. Chalk Lance Lynn. BVP guys, you can shamble me for being a BVP guy. I don't really care. He's been terrible against lefties. Seth Brown can hit the ball over the park. And then I'm going to Mr. Ahmed Rosario, shortstop, 3,800 for the Dodgers in the cleanup spot. I think he hits his first bomb tonight in a Dodgers uniform. So give me Ahmed Rosario.
I love it. Little 2-pack Taco Tuesday. I will say, I don't know who's only getting 2 tacos on a Taco Tuesday. Got to get some more than that. But Nate's giving out winners. Appreciate all of you guys hanging out with us. We really, really do. And again, if you want to head over to SHIPITNation.com, see who hoops on, G Rising, Hamwich, Cash Cores, projections, stack rankings, hitter rankings, pitcher rankings, all of that good stuff. Head over to SHIPITNation.com. $59 a month, $599 a year. Get in the Discord. Check out PGA content, MMA content. Big Marley and I will be going live for Best Ball tomorrow at 2 Eastern. Good luck tonight. Let's see some Ship It Nation logos up top like we did yesterday. Have a great night, everybody. For Nades, I'm Title Town. Good luck, everybody.